Hello everyone, this is Gaurav from Automation Hacks, and in this video we are going to take a look at different features that were introduced in Java 8 that make sense for test automation. So let's get started. The first feature that we are going to take a look at is basically the introduction of default and static methods in interfaces. So what is this and why should you care, right? So let's take an example first. So we know we can create an interface within Java, and in those interfaces, we can sort of provide, a skeleton or a blueprint that other classes can basically implement and then get that structure from. In Java 8, we introduced the ability to have your methods as static. And why this would be useful is that you can essentially just use the interface to access these static methods. So here I have an example interface called vehicle, and this has a method called as producer, which basically returns a string. And you can notice that we have given the modifier static to this. Now, what this means is I can directly use it via the interface, and we'll see an example of it. Also, you can see that I have a default method here called as get overview, which is to say that any class that basically implements this interface gets this method by default. This is very useful in case you want to, introduce something to your interface without sort of breaking backwards compatibility. And you can see that we just return a string, and we are also making use of the output of the producer, which is the static method. And notice that this is italicized, so I can directly use a static method within the interface. Now, how might you use this? Let's understand this with a learning test. So here I have a class. Let's call it as one particular car manufacturer and model, which is a type of vehicle. And I can override the default method to provide an implementation that this particular class cares about. So essentially, if someone uses an object of this class, then we will return a custom message, right? But there might be another classes which might be okay with just using the default interface. So here I have the Toyota Etios, which also implements the vehicle interface, but does not override the get overview method. So let's see how we can use the static members directly within a test. So I can directly call the static method from the interface, just like you would on any other class as well. So I can call it on vehicle, get the output, and then assert that this is equal to, Toyota, which is what we had actually set it in the static method. So let us just run this test method, and we can see it passes. It basically gets the same sort of static value that we had given in our method. Now we know that we can, of course, directly access the default method via either an instance or the implementing class. So what we mean here is like we can create an instance of Toyota Etios, and then just call the get overview method, which is the default method that we had implemented, essentially expecting the same message. Yeah. So let's run this, and this passes as well. And lastly, we can even just override the default method and then make use of it. So here I create an object of this particular car and then try to call the get overview method, which should be the overridden message, as we can see here. Right. So with this ability to define static methods within an interface, you have the capability now to sort of, do something similar to what you would do with a class, and interface also has that feature now. So that's all for this video. And in the next one, we will look at method references within Java. I'll see you in the next one.